All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Group Chart Analysis. It is Thursday. I was going to say Friday. It is Thursday, July 26th, 2018. Today's a trap day for those of you that are trading, so be careful by this time tonight. It'll be Friday, so a lot of consolidations could happen. We saw a lot of movement last night on some of the pairs. They were in consolidation very heavily, and then finally dropped yesterday, or technically this morning. Which was good. EU dropped, gold dropped, the two main pairs that we had been focused on. I'm not sure if any other things were going. I mean, EU and gold were pretty much like my main priorities yesterday. So, and they all panned out. They all moved 100 plus pips, which is awesome. So if anybody caught all that, good shit. Let's get it. Now let's kind of see what we're going to be looking at for the rest of the day, guys. So like I said, it's Friday, trap day. After the movement that had happened, so what is this, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, Sunday, Monday, it barely moved. I think EU still has a little bit of room, but at the same time, the news this morning did move it a good amount. So, and it's not really in the zone still for it to be doing anything like momentum-wise or movement-wise. I still think this thing's actually going to drop. You guys see how this pattern formed. This thing could actually kind of shoot down like this. Kind of shoot down towards that recent low, which would be ideal, especially after that pattern right there. The 4 hour shot down hard. So what we could expect, I mean, because it's in a consolidation, mind you, take everything that I'm saying to at ease, because one, it's a trap day, and two, it's been consolidated like a motherfucker. So I'm just kind of going off of what I'm seeing right now. So either it can kind of shoot up. This is the 4 hour. Let me go to the 1 hour. Because we're only finished. We're only playing one more night. It's either going to come up, right? Well, actually, I think this thing's actually going to drop again. You know, if we're looking at turn, it could shoot up like this and then drop, but I'm looking at this RSI right now, and it kind of looks like the volatility is still open. I think this thing's actually going to shoot down again tonight, because that does go with the overall trend that we have been looking for. You know, obviously we wanted EU to be dropping. We wanted to, initially a couple months ago, we were predicting it to shoot up to form the right shoulder, but it hasn't done that, and I don't believe it will. I think it's going to continue down. So I'm looking at this possibly for a continued drop where the RSI continues over to the into the extremely oversold range, and then we'll be seeing this thing possibly consolidate out for the rest of the day. So really just be patient. Hey, sorry, I got dogs. It is divergent right here on the 15-minute. We got price going down. We have price on the RSI going up, oversold, going up, divergent. So what this could mean is that it's going to either consolidate and then shoot up to hit that water and then come back down and consolidate out, or it could shoot up, hit the water, come back down, drop again, and then retest and obviously continue to that down range. But right now, because of this divergence and because it's in a consolidation, this might actually shoot up into that 15-minute water. Once it hits it, obviously you can play it down, but if it breaks it, you can look for the retest of it and then shot back up towards that 15-minute Mayo. And this would probably be the best idea. I would not look to trade this thing for a long term, especially since it's Friday. You know, trading off the hour wouldn't be smart. I would definitely go for the 15-minute and go for like 10 to 20 pips, because I just don't expect a shit ton of movement unless there's some news that I'm not seeing. But just be really careful on it. This one is gold. If you guys had watched the analysis yesterday, all the technicals that we had written out said everything was a downtrend. Obviously, it had broken all lows. We had drawn the trend lines from the top here down, and it literally wicked right off of it, and it continued in the downwards area. Hit the trend line, hit the high right there, wicked right off of it, was divergent, nicked right over to the overbought zone, and it continued down. It was overall downtrend. So that was good. We had this trend line get broken right here, which is another confirmation. You could enter on the retest, and now we have one other being tested as we speak. I'm not sure if this is actually valid. I wouldn't even use that, but this was the reasoning. Yeah, if you had missed the actual trade from the very top right after the analysis when I called it, you definitely could have gotten it on the retest of the trend line here for it to continue to drop. So I'm going to say the same thing on gold like I said EU. Look for the continuation. Just wait for it to keep dropping. No sign of it going down. No sign of it reversing. It's simply just continuing back down the trend. And here is the next. Here's the most recent low there. Or you can go off to the close of the candle, which is right here. All right. So there's a couple areas. You still have plenty of room. Just don't trade against the trend on this one. Just continue with it. U-Chief, we had said this was a buy because if EU was going down, U-Chief was going up. It came up and it fell somewhat of a little divergence. If you're actually seeing this right here, started here. It's like a mini head and shoulders on it. It's not the best one, but left shoulder, head, right shoulder, it shot up. It's been in a consolidation, so it actually retested this high right here. Hit it and it retraced back down. So if it draws right now, there you go. So hit it, retrace back down, and it's been in consolidation ever since. So I don't really see this pair moving at all for the rest of the week. A lot of it's been happening, and also next week is next week NFP? I think next week is, let me see. Yeah, next week would be NFP, I believe. So this is probably another reason why it's been consolidating out, especially since it's summertime, July. It's just been kind of doing its thing. But I will expect some sort of movement next week from this pair. And on top of that, it's hitting the water. So we had EU and gold for the continued drop. We could see this thing continue to rise. We'll see how everything goes. It's not my favorite pair to play, so I wouldn't recommend playing it. GU dropped along with EU and gold. Had the divergence right there. I actually wanted to go up and hit that blueberry. I think I did believe that I said it was going to hit that blueberry. It did not. It continued into that in the middle of the range right here through the divergent head and shoulders right on the 15 minutes. A small one, nothing big, just a small one right here. Divergence going up, overbought, divergence going down, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, drop. And it was definitely going with the news, so you could have played that. And on top of that, it's an overall downtrend on the higher time frame. Let me see this. I see a trend line that got broken real quick. See this right here. There you go. So it broke right through it. If you go to the 15-minute, there's probably a re-entry right on it as soon as it broke it. Right here. And it continued. So it's kind of just been doing its thing for a little bit. But continue with the trend. I don't really see this thing going back. It may pull back just a little bit, like I said, like EU. So maybe like a slight pullback up to the water. But I'm going to say continuation down on this one, guys. Just for now, it's Friday. You don't want to expect too much. So just kind of see what happens. EU, it's actually funny. This is actually working out perfectly. So we did expect this for the midweek reversal to shoot up, and I think we said it was going to happen during New York session if it did. And looking at it right here, it kind of looks like it did. It kept moving down during London session. New York reversal came around, shot up, and it formed that little high. And it's also divergent on the hour and the 4 hour to go up, and it's oversold. So this could actually be a next move up to continue the trend. And I did say, actually, I didn't tell you guys. I mean, I've been talking to some of the traders that I work with. And it was all the way up here, and I was like, guys, it's overbought and divergent. This thing's going to drop back down to that 15-minute May or water, and it's going to reverse back up. And I had someone sell it right here. So I don't know how many pips that was. So from here to there is about, come on. There we go. About here. About 20 pips. So it's pulling back nicely. If this does what I think it's going to do, it could consolidate here. So this would be the false move, Asian session, and then continue back up with that trend. We'll see how it goes. I mean, the RSI is not looking like it's going to be slowing down anytime soon, so it could keep dropping a little bit, especially since it's right in that blueberry. So anything could really happen at this point in the market. It threw a railroad at the 4 hour, and it's still continuing down. Like this thing could actually shoot back down again and then consolidate out. And on top of that, I didn't really take out the high. So, I mean, it is divergent, but we're going to have to see what happens because if this continues, it's going to go back down. Let me see. Let me kind of draw this out for you here. So at least here. Come on. Right there. I think it could shoot down to about there. Because that would be like an inverted head and shoulders, if you will. And it could take a little bit. So consolidate down, and then we'll see the reversal back up. AU, let's see. Overall downtrend, wanted to pull up a little bit to hit that daily water. I think that's what the water was. Let me see. Oh, shit, it did. It hit the water, and then it dropped. Sweet. That's why I dropped. There you go. Hit it. Divergent M overbought right at the top. Called that yesterday. Didn't quite touch the trend line. I think the trend line's a little off because I did it on a higher time frame. That's why it's not touching. But it continued to drop. And AUD news, USD news obviously helped with the drop down as well. So whatever happened to the dollar, it increased and it gained some value. Right now it's oversold. 15 minutes should be divergent. It should be like a little mini divergent head and shoulder, inverted head and shoulders. We'll see. Yep, so it's oversold right now, divergent, little head and shoulders. Right now, short term, this thing should be shooting upwards, hit that water, come back down, or break the water, retest it, come back up. So AU, GU, and EU, GU, and AU all look the same right now. So they're probably going to, correlate for the end of the week. So just expect some probably shot up and then a consolidation in the middle. Don't really expect too much. GJ continued in that trend that we actually broke. So I told you guys yesterday, I drew it on the other laptop, not on this one. We had drawn out a channel here on the hour. And I had predicted that it was going to go up, retest it, didn't do that. Instead, it went back down to that low of the channel that we had thought it was going to go to after it had retested. And it broke it and continued. So if you'd sold this, you would have made some money. It literally played out perfectly. It broke the trend line, continued down. I think it's going to continue to go down. The divergence is not there, so you guys are still looking for sales on GJ. That's simple. Continue to look for sales on GJ. EA moved during the beginning of the week, came up here, so does it Thursday, Wednesday, no, so Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. So Sunday, Monday. Monday it shot up, and then Tuesday it dropped, and then it consolidated out in between the EMAs. If it continues to do kind of where it's at, it's either going to go up, break the high, continue to go up and retest, or it's going to shoot back down to retest these lows. All right, so that's kind of what we're going to be doing. Not a lot of expected. All the pairs are consolidating right now, so you just got to be really careful with everything. Not really seeing if there's any news. There's only green folders, or should I say yellow folders on Forex Factory, but this thing is doing kind of what it wants. I don't know really what this is going to do because especially it's a what's it called? It's a cross currency between Euro USD and AUD USD. So it all depends on like what happens with that. So I would just stay away from this pair. Don't really touch it. It's not really good. GZ. I thought I got rid of GZ. Whatever. This pair has just been consolidating. This one is still not up. You know what? I'm not even going to go over it. Don't even touch GZ right now. GA looks like a trend line is right here. We have a trend line, not really. It's hitting that blueberry. So what this means is that it could continue down here and then back up. All right, so well, not that high, but here and back up. So short term, you're looking for the sells. So that kind of goes with EA, because whatever GA does, EA does. They both correlate together. That's why they're consolidating. Let's go to the 15-minute. The 15-minute actually looks really good for the sell. So I'm going to say look for drops on GA and EA, even though I don't recommend you playing them. Short term, I'm going to say look for it to go back and retest this trend line because it has been respected multiple times. And then we'll do G-Chief. G-Chief had dropped. I'm not exactly sure why. I didn't look at this pair yesterday. Oh, threw something. It almost saw us, but it's not. Continued downtrend. 4 hours good. 1 hour. You guys are continuing to sell on G-Chief, right? So that goes with GU as well. GU, EU, AU, all continuing to drop. Sorry. You're all going to continue with the drop. This thing is going to keep going down. So that's really what you're going to be looking for short term. Anybody have any questions? Today's Thursday. It's the last trading. It's the last analysis until Sunday. There's only a couple pairs that I really like. I mean, EU is going to continue. AU, GU, and G-Chief are really the best looking pairs right now because they're not really going to be reversing. They're just continuing. So you can continue to sell those and just be patient. Or you can just be smart and not play at all, and we'll come back next week. So what about the GU buy up to 1.320? I wouldn't really buy it. The only reason it would go up is for a pullback. I mean, it is because it broke this trend line. If it's pulling up, it's only a retracement. I don't like it for a buy. I don't like it for a buy at all. Nothing's saying buy. 1.32. Yeah, GU's not going up that high. It won't do it. It's probably going to come back into the midsection here. Don't expect it to go that high. If it does, it's news. That's not normal. And on top of that, it threw sauce on the daily. So be really careful. I don't expect this thing to rise. If it does, shit, come slap me. But I'm telling you right now, that thing is not going back up that high. It's not happening. But yeah, look for it to pull back maybe and then drop. But continue drop. All right, guys. So with that being said, I'm going to put this up on YouTube, put it inside of the groups. And I'll see you guys back Sunday night, 6 o'clock p.m. PST, and we'll get this next week started right. So that being said, everyone have a great weekend, and I'll catch you Sunday. Peace out.